Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. Part 1. The silent force blocking your path. Have you ever stepped into a home that looked perfectly fine, clean, cozy, maybe even beautifully decorated, but something just didn't sit right? You couldn't explain it. The light felt off. The air seemed heavy. And you left with a quiet unease, like your spirit didn't settle there. Now imagine living in that feeling every day. You clean. You rearrange. You light candles and even meditate. But still, things in your life won't shift. You feel stuck. Your job plateaus. Relationships grow distant. Finances slip through your fingers like water. You start to wonder if it's just bad luck, or worse, that maybe there's something wrong with you. But what if the problem isn't inside you, but around you? What if the real issue begins before you even step through the door? In both Buddhist philosophy and the energetic science of Feng Shui, we learn that the outer world mirrors the inner one, but the reverse is also true. Your environment speaks. And sometimes, it whispers blockages into your life in the most unexpected ways. One of those ways? The number on your front door. That's right. That simple digit, or set of digits, may be radiating a frequency that clashes with your life's direction. In Feng Shui, numbers are not just for addresses or mail. They are energetic codes. Like mantras, they carry vibrations that either support or suppress your well-being. We're used to thinking of numbers as neutral, logical, and harmless. But in the East, and increasingly in modern metaphysical circles, numbers are treated more like tuning forks. Each one resonates with a different kind of energy. Some expand your fortune and clarity, while others quietly drain it. In this video, we're going to explore the 5 most disruptive house numbers, the ones that block success, fragment peace, and keep you running in place even when you're doing everything right. But more importantly, we'll show you how to reclaim your space. You don't need to move. You need to understand. Because once you become aware of what your house is saying, you can change the script. Your home isn't just where you live. It's where your energy gathers, where your karma rests, and where your next chapter begins, or doesn't. Let's begin by unlocking the unseen language of numbers, and what they might already be doing to your life. Part 2. The family who couldn't escape the fog. A few years ago, I met a woman named Caroline through a mutual friend. She was a corporate HR executive, sharp-minded, calm under pressure, and devoted to her 2 daughters. From the outside, everything looked intact: stable job, stable income, and a husband who supported her dreams. But beneath the surface, life kept unraveling in cycles that didn't make sense. Over the course of 7 years, Caroline and her family moved 3 times. Each move felt like a fresh start. The first home had a mold issue. The second came with unexpected legal troubles from a previous owner. The third, well, that's when she reached out to me. "I don't know what else to fix," she said, eyes tired. "It's like we carry bad luck with us." At first glance, I thought she might be right. Maybe it was just a string of unfortunate events. But when I looked at the numbers on each address she had lived in, something stood out immediately. All 3 homes carried a variation of the number 4, either directly, like house number 4 or 40, or indirectly through reduction, like 13, 1 plus 3 equals 4. And in Feng Shui, the energy of number 4 is no small thing. In many Eastern traditions, the number 4 carries the frequency of endings, stillness, and energetic decline. It resonates with the same sound as the word death in Mandarin and other East Asian languages, not because of superstition, but because of vibrational resonance. 4 is the number of stasis. It doesn't scream. It slowly silences. Caroline didn't need another move. She needed to stop running and start listening to what her home had been reflecting all along. Her family's constant fatigue, random health dips, and rising tension weren't personal flaws. They were symptoms of living in spaces that resisted forward energy. Spaces where effort dissolved, not amplified. We made some simple adjustments, symbolic and energetic, and the difference was immediate. Her kids started sleeping better. The house felt lighter, she said. Even her husband landed a major client just weeks later. Your house may not speak in words, but it communicates. And the number pinned to its entrance might be one of the clearest things it's been trying to tell you. In the next section, we'll explore what number 4 truly means, and how to rewrite the energy it holds. Before we move on, take a moment to reflect. What number greets you every time you come home? If this story resonates with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma, and share your house number in the comments. You might discover you're not alone, and that awareness is the first step to transformation. Now, let's dive into the true nature of number 4 and what it might be doing to your energy. Part 3, Number 4, the house that never moves. Sometimes, everything in your life can look okay from the outside, steady job, no drama, bills paid. But inside, you feel like you're stuck in slow motion. You're not falling, but you're not rising either. Days blur together. Dreams lose their momentum. It's not chaos, it's stagnation. And in Feng Shui, no number represents this invisible stillness more than the number 4. In many East Asian cultures, the number 4 is considered deeply inauspicious, not just because it sounds like the word for death, but because it carries the energy of closure. 4 seasons, 4 corners, 4 walls. It represents structure, yes, but also confinement. When that number marks the front of your home, it can quietly signal this is where things end. You may not notice it at first. But over time, the symptoms show up: lost motivation, repeating obstacles, relationships cooling off, opportunities slipping away. You begin to feel emotionally flat, even in a beautiful home. Let me tell you about David. David was a brilliant software engineer in his early 30s. After saving for years, he bought a small modern house in the suburbs, house number 40. The plan was simple: start his own tech company, enjoy a quieter life, and finally build something of his own. And at first, it all looked promising. But within months, things began to slow down. Not catastrophically, just subtly. His startup idea stalled. He couldn't sleep well. Calls with potential investors went nowhere. Even friendships he'd maintained for years started to fade. "I feel like my life's on mute," he told me. And when I visited, I understood why. The house was stunning, but the energy was heavy. Still, closed. In Buddhist teachings, we're reminded not to attach to what merely looks right. The outer form can be deceiving. A perfectly painted wall means nothing if the energy behind it suffocates the spirit. The number 4 doesn't bring disaster, it brings invisible resistance. A slow freeze, not a fire. But resistance isn't permanent. Energy can always be shifted. If your house bears the number 4, or any number that reduces to 4, like 13 or 31, you're not doomed. You're being invited to wake up the flow. Start by placing movement near your entrance: a small fountain, a plant that grows upward, or a chime that sings with the wind. Add red or orange elements, colors of vitality and rebirth. And each morning, speak this aloud: this home is a place of growth, not decline. I welcome energy, momentum, and new beginnings. Because even when the number says end, your intention can rewrite the entire story. And when you change the energy of your home, you often change the rhythm of your life. Part 4, Number 7, the house that forgets the body. On the surface, number 7 seems like a gift. In numerology, it's known as the number of insight, intuition, and inner wisdom. Spiritually, it's linked to meditation, reflection, and the search for truth. It's the number of seekers, of monks, mystics, and deep thinkers. But that's also where the danger lies. You see, number 7 doesn't just pull energy inward, it can pull it away. When it governs a house, the energy often becomes disconnected from the physical world. Daily routines dissolve. Social ties fray. Your mind may soar, but your body is left behind. This was the exact experience of Monica, a 42-year-old life coach I once worked with. She had recently moved into a house numbered 25, a number that reduces to 7. From the outside, her life was ideal. She had clients, a loving partner, and a beautiful space surrounded by trees. But something inside her started unraveling. I wake up tired. I start projects but never finish. And I feel like I'm floating all the time, she told me. Her symptoms were subtle but serious: chronic mental fog, lack of drive, an eerie stillness that felt more numbing than peaceful. Even her partner noticed a change. It's like she's somewhere else, he said. The house itself was serene. But too serene. It lacked rhythm, stimulation, movement. The energy had become hollow. In the Dharma, we're taught that true spirituality is not about escaping the world, but engaging with it, fully, mindfully, and without clinging. When a space leans too far into spiritual detachment without balance, it begins to strip away the grounding forces we need to live, grow, and act. That's the shadow side of number 7. It dissolves your edges. And over time, you may lose your center. But you can bring yourself back. If your home resonates with 7, you must anchor its energy. Start by incorporating earth tones, warm browns, terracotta, muted gold. Introduce natural materials like clay, stone, and wood. Place grounding crystals, such as obsidian or hematite, near your front door or bed. But more importantly, reclaim ritual. Set fixed times to light incense, prepare tea, or walk barefoot outside. Ritual calls the soul back into the body. And each day, say this aloud: I am here. I am rooted. I am whole. This home holds me in balance. Because intuition means nothing without clarity. And peace is not peace when it disconnects you from life. A house guided by number 7 isn't cursed, it's just waiting for you to return to it. With rhythm. With breath. With presence. And when you do, it can become a sacred space, not just for ideas, but for real, grounded living. Part 5, Number 13, the house of static and false starts. No number in Western culture carries more superstition than 13. It's been skipped in elevators, hotel rooms, and airplane seating for decades. But in the energetic lens of Feng Shui and spiritual numerology, number 13 isn't just unlucky, it's misaligned. Not malevolent. Just out of sync. To understand its energy, we need to break it down. 1 symbolizes leadership, momentum, and initiation. 3 represents creativity, self-expression, and expansion. You'd think combining the 2 would create powerful energy. But instead, their vibrations often clash. 1 wants to act. 3 wants to explore. Together, they stir up a frequency of friction, like a car trying to drive with 1 foot on the gas and the other on the brake. The result? False starts. Broken momentum. Ideas that spark, then sputter. That was exactly the pattern haunting Jordan, a marketing consultant I once met during a retreat. He had moved into a stylish downtown condo, unit number 13. For the first few weeks, he felt supercharged. His client base expanded. His creativity soared. He told me, "I feel like I'm finally catching a wave." But then came the glitches. Sudden cancellations. Missed invoices. Creative projects that got halfway and then unraveled. Even in his personal life, things frayed. Friendships grew distant. Dates fizzled for no clear reason. "I'm doing everything right," he told me. "But it's like I'm always half a step out of rhythm." That's the dance of number 13. It lures you with potential, then cuts the music without warning. In the Dharma, we talk about the tension between viriya, energy/effort, and samadhi, concentration. When those forces don't align, suffering arises, not from chaos, but from scattered intention. That's what number 13 does. It scatters. So how do you harmonize it? The antidote to scattered energy is structure, ritual, rhythm, and clarity. Begin by grounding your home with earth elements, terracotta pots, clay bowls, wood textures. These help catch the restless chi. Add symbols of flow, like a mirror angled near your entryway, but not facing the door, to disperse energetic tension. Most importantly, build daily rituals. Light a candle at the same hour. Journal before bed. Schedule your creativity instead of chasing it. Predictability calms the turbulence of 13. And declare, "I release resistance. I move with clarity and grace. This home supports my rhythm and return." Because number 13 doesn't block your path, it just asks you to choose one, and follow it with heart. When energy is scattered, your life skips like a scratched record. But when energy is aligned, even 13 can become a song that finally plays all the way through. Part 6, Number 5, The Wild Flame of Unbalanced Power. Some numbers whisper. Number 5 doesn't. It hums, buzzes, pulses. It's the epicenter of movement, change, and transformation. In traditional Feng Shui, 5 sits at the center of the bagua, the compass of energy. It belongs to the earth element, but it's also known to mirror all 5 elements in motion. That makes it powerful. But when imbalanced, also unpredictable. Where other numbers create flow, number 5 can create waves. That's exactly what happened to Aiden, a product designer in San Diego. He lived in house number 23, which reduces to 5. Aiden was visionary, ambitious, always full of ideas. When he moved into that house, he thought he'd found his launch pad. But something strange kept happening. His inspiration was explosive, but short-lived. His routines never stuck. Meetings ran late. Relationships burned hot, then cold. He described it perfectly one day. "It's like I'm standing in the middle of a storm I created. And I don't know how to step out of it." That's the essence of number 5. It's magnetic, but it doesn't settle. It's the rolling thunder of opportunity, and sometimes, the emotional aftershocks that follow. In Feng Shui, this is known as the Wu Huang Sha, or the 5 yellow star, an energy that, when disturbed, can lead to accidents, illness, financial instability, and a restless heart. But let's be clear, number 5 is not cursed. It's testing you. In Buddhist terms, we might say it embodies the dance between Shakti, active force, and equanimity. It's a fire that can either forge gold, or burn the house down, depending on how you hold it. So how do you channel it without being consumed? Start with balance. Your home must represent all 5 elements, not just fire or metal. Ask yourself, is there too much tech, metal, or glass? Balance it with clay or wood. Is the lighting too sharp? Soften it with warm tones. Does the space feel too open? Create cozy, grounded corners. Then, bring in symbols of harmony. Place citrine or clear quartz at the center of the home. Use metal wind chimes to break up chaotic frequencies. Hang a Wen Chang pagoda if you work or study from home. It stabilizes mental energy. And most importantly, breathe intentionally. Practice 5-element breathing in the mornings. Inhale growth, wood, courage, fire, stillness, earth, clarity, metal, and wisdom, water. Say aloud, "This home is my center. All things move, but I remain steady." Number 5 doesn't want you to sit still. It wants you to learn how to move with purpose. And once you do, it becomes your greatest ally, not your downfall. Because when you learn to ride the current, chaos becomes rhythm. And power becomes peace. Part 7, Number 30, the loop that doesn't break. At first glance, house number 30 doesn't seem threatening. It feels clean, neutral, even uplifting. The number 3 is often linked to creativity, optimism, and forward movement. 0 appears elegant, like an open circle, full of potential. But in the energetic language of Feng Shui and spiritual numerology, 0 has a secret. It can also become a trap. You see, 0 doesn't just amplify what comes before it. It can also absorb it, dissolve it. When paired with 3, instead of promoting expansion, it often creates motion without direction. In other words, number 30 spins. Not in chaos, but in repetition. It's the kind of house where you make progress that never lands. Where things almost click, but not quite. Where you're always doing, but somehow, nothing really moves. This is what happened to Michelle, a highly capable architect based in Colorado. She had lived in house number 30 for 3 years when I met her during a design retreat. Outwardly, everything was in place. A growing firm, strong clients, even awards for her work. But privately, she confessed something troubling. "I feel like my life is looping. I hit walls I've already broken through. Projects stall for no reason. I'm exhausted by patterns I can't seem to break." Her house was filled with vision boards, to-do lists, creative tools. But the chi, the vital energy, was circling back on itself. Instead of flow, there was friction. Tiny delays. Emotional echoes. Momentum caught in a loop. In Dharma, we might compare this to samsara, the cycle of rebirth. Not as punishment, but as reflection. You repeat what you haven't transcended. A home governed by 30 reflects that same energy. You're always working, always growing, yet somehow not arriving. But here's the key. Cycles can be broken, when made conscious. The first step is to disrupt the pattern physically. Rearrange your furniture, especially in stagnant corners. Open windows in rooms that always feel heavy. Bring in vertical elements, tall plants, curtains drawn upward, to encourage movement out of the loop. Then, introduce directional symbolism. Use art or decor that features pathways, bridges, rivers, or stairways. Avoid placing mirrors opposite each other. They trap energy in endless reflection. On the mental and spiritual level, begin a daily ritual of clearing. Burn lemongrass or sage to cut energetic residue. Light a single white candle and speak. I move forward with clarity. I leave behind what no longer serves. Most importantly, change the narrative. A looping number doesn't mean failure. It means you've stayed too long in a cycle that once worked but no longer fits. When you shift your intention, number 30 stops pulling you back and starts pointing you forward. Because your home should reflect momentum, not maintenance. And when your energy aligns with that truth, you break the loop, not by force, but by awareness. Part 8, Final Reflection. Your home is a Dharma gate. We often think of a house as just a physical space, walls, windows, furniture, shelter. But in the deeper traditions of both Feng Shui and Dharma, a home is more than a container for your life. It is an active mirror of your internal world. It reflects your thoughts, amplifies your emotions, and, perhaps most importantly, holds the energetic patterns that shape your habits, relationships, and purpose. That's why the number on your door matters more than most people realize. It's not about superstition. It's about resonance. Each of the house numbers we've explored, number 4, 7, 13, 5, and 30, reveals a different kind of energetic tension. Not because the numbers themselves are inherently bad, but because they carry frequencies that challenge certain parts of our journey. Some create friction between effort and outcome. Others disconnect you from your body, your drive, or your clarity. They don't harm you deliberately. They simply reveal what you haven't yet healed. That's what makes this work so powerful. Once you become aware of what your home is echoing back to you, you begin to shift, not just the space, but your state. When I walk into someone's home, I don't just look at how the furniture is arranged or what color the walls are. I listen for silence. I feel for weight. I notice whether the air moves or stands still. I look at the number on the door not as a label, but as a mantra, a signal that speaks on behalf of everything that happens inside. In Buddhist teachings, we speak often of karma, but it's misunderstood. Karma isn't punishment. It's repetition. It's energy that circles back when not yet understood. And your house, your physical home, is one of the most intimate places where that karma plays out. Why? Because it's where your attention rests when no one's watching. It's where your energy settles when you stop pretending. When you live in a space that's out of alignment, especially with a number that carries dissonant frequencies, it doesn't ruin your life. It simply slows it down. You may still succeed, but it takes more effort. You may still love, but with more confusion. You may still grow, but like a plant fighting through dry soil. But the moment you shift the energy, whether through objects, rituals, light, intention, or rearrangement, you begin to change the conversation between your home and your soul. You're not just fixing your space. You're rewriting your energetic signature. So here's what I want you to take away. If your house number is one of those 5, don't panic. Don't rush to sell. And definitely don't assume you're doomed. Numbers are teachers. Some give you comfort. Others give you lessons. Either way, they're inviting you to evolve. You don't need to wait for a new address to begin a new life. You need a new awareness. And it starts with questions like, what does my home reflect back to me? Where am I looping? Where am I resisting? Where have I become too detached, too scattered, or too stuck? When you walk through your front door each day, you're crossing a threshold, not just between outdoors and indoors, but between who you were and who you're becoming. So start treating your home like a sacred space. A Dharma gate. Not just a place you sleep, but a place where your energy rests and regenerates. A place where karma softens and clarity begins. Because when your space rises to meet your spirit, everything changes, subtly at first, then profoundly. Fortune flows. Peace deepens. And life begins to move, not in loops or resistance, but in rhythm.